I'm fully prepared with everything I need for the Jay-Z documentary. The moment he sent that legal letter, I knew I had to let the world see who he really is. He and Diddy are cut from the same cloth. He just hides his arrogance and control behind a cleaner image. Our feud has lasted 20 years, and I know better than anyone what he's done in the shadows. I even suspect that so-called funeral bouquet wasn't Diddy's idea at all, but Jay-Z acting on his behalf. Back when Nicki Minaj posted that video of him wearing a pink wig, all I did was repost it, and he got so nervous he had his lawyers threaten me. In 2015, Nicki worked her ass off helping him build his platform, and he allegedly pocketed her $7.9 million in royalties. And then there's his fingerprints all over key incidents through the years, whether it's the elevator footage or the guest list at Diddy's parties. He was involved, clearly, but somehow he always walks away untouched. That's what he's best at, pulling strings behind the scenes while pretending to be spotless in public. And now that a corner of the darkness has been ripped open, I'm not stopping. Everything my team and I are doing isn't about attacking anyone. It's about making sure the truth can't be buried by him ever again.
He ain't answering the phone? He ain't answering the motherfucking phone. Yeah, it's like this, like
we had a black billionaire's lunch.
Black excellence, they're sitting there like, yeah. It's a billionaire brunch.
Oh,
Like,
I hate you, man.
And we here together, and we're gonna keep staying together. We getting tighter.
unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you this year. Yo, I feel like I'm normal again. Get me out of here.
Jay-Z is under growing scrutiny after online speculation suggested that alleged private exchanges involving him and Diddy may have surfaced, drawing renewed attention across social platforms. The claims have pushed him into an uneasy spotlight, as discussions about his long-known professional ties are being revisited. With unverified reports circulating, old narratives are resurfacing and public pressure is steadily building, creating a moment that could test how his image and legacy are perceived.
Sean Carter aided and abetted or was directly involved. It's about to get real tense, and there's a lot of girls and boys who are still.
In earlier interviews, 50 Cent openly explained that he chose to keep his distance from Diddy's inner circle, noting that certain settings and invitations raised concerns early on and led him to stay separate. He has said that this deliberate space is what allows him to speak freely now. When later claims surfaced, 50 made it clear he learned about them the same way everyone else did, through public reports, and while the details were serious, he stressed that none of it truly surprised him.
Jaguar Wright explained that Jay-Z is worse than Diddy. She explained how Jay-Z has done worse things than what Diddy did to Cassie to other females. And she said that she has the scars to prove it. She alleged that at one time Jay-Z attacked her and got it on film like Diddy did. And she alleged that this is why Jay-Z is totally pulling away from Diddy and you don't see him around. And it's been alleged for quite a while that Jay-Z is pulling away from Diddy because he doesn't want himself caught in the crossfire. I mean, you even have 50 Cent at this point talking about how Jay-Z is in hiding while this whole Diddy thing blows over. And you even have these accusations of Jay-Z being responsible for what happened to Cassie White. So I'm going to go ahead and roll you guys this clip of everything that Jag had to say about Jay-Z being worse than Diddy, and you guys let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
Sean Carter is just as bad as the diddler. And I know that for a fact. I got the scars to prove it. You want to know what a box cutter feels like going into your skin and ripping you? I can tell you how it feels. Y'all ain't seen shit yet. That Cassie shit, that's nothing. I'm saying Sean Carter remembers everything he did to me and he's got it on tape. Just like Diddy. And they're gonna be crazy. It's gonna be.
As scrutiny widened, attention slowly drifted toward Jay-Z, with observers questioning his silence as developments around Diddy continued to unfold. That reserved stance only intensified speculation, prompting some to assume his team was aware of his name circulating in civil discussions and was moving early to manage public perception. Others argued that even without formal action, reputational impact was already setting in. Online platforms accelerated everything, allowing rumors and unchecked narratives to spread rapidly, turning uncertainty into momentum and making the consequences feel swift and difficult to contain.
Jay-Z's accuser is saying that even though she dropped the lawsuit, she still stands by what she says, and she only dropped it because of harassment and the fact that she's terrified of Jay-Z. She says that Jay-Z is allegedly bullying her into saying that her accusations were false. In fact, in new legal documents, she is claiming that she was recently approached outside of her home and cornered by two people who told her they were investigators working for one of Jay-Z's lawyers. She claims they tried to get her to sign an affidavit stating that her art claims against Jay-Z were false, but she refused. Jane Doe also claims the alleged investigators asked her if her attorney, Tony Busby, sought her out as a client and offered her money to pursue false claims against Jay-Z, two allegations she says she denied. He says this alleged confrontation left her intimidated and terrified, wondering how they found her when her identity had remained anonymous in media reports and legal proceedings. He also claims that her parents were approached by two investigators asking similar questions about Busby and her R story. In the new documents, she reveals she decided to drop the claim because she was frightened by the reaction from Jay-Z and his supporters. She says she feared she would be publicly outed and subjected.
Industry observers have cautioned that even a single legal inquiry could disrupt far more than one individual, potentially affecting anyone seen as closely linked, which is why many believe 50's documentary carries significant weight. Rather than targeting one figure, it's positioned as a broader examination of how power moved behind closed doors, who may have been aware of certain dynamics, and how responsibility can ripple outward once scrutiny begins. Analysts have also questioned how Diddy remained shielded for so long, with some suggesting that strategic alliances and tight control over public narratives helped contain controversy as rumors circulated. Amid this uncertainty, unconfirmed reports surfaced claiming Diddy may be engaging with authorities in an effort to strengthen his standing, a development that, if true, could involve sharing insight about others in his circle, deepening unease and tension throughout the industry.
But the only thing I'm interested in him talking about is everything he knows about Kathy Coriana White. See, I know you know what happened to Corey. Diddy? I know that. You and Jay-Z. Down in Vegas in Tao with Claudia. Why don't you just talk about Kathy? That might help. That might help a lot. Kathy Coriana White, Jay-Z's pregnant mistress, who died 24 hours after she announced that she was going public with their relationship and the baby while he was married to Beyonce. Was it an aneurysm, Diddy? Or are you the one who paid the same coroner that you...
With the documentary now released, one reality is clear: this story isn't confined to history, it's actively shaping what comes next. Each new revelation sharpens attention on those who remained quiet, placing Jay-Z more firmly at the center of public focus. The scrutiny carries weight because his professional history with Diddy spans decades, making claims of separation harder for critics to reconcile. Tension escalated when Gene Deal publicly questioned statements from Jay-Z's legal team suggesting limited closeness, arguing that the narrative conflicted with what many industry insiders had long perceived. As more voices speak up and past timelines are revisited, the pressure continues to mount, transforming once muted associations into persistent questions that refuse to disappear.
How close was Diddy and Jay-Z? They was close enough that they wasn't playing basketball, they wasn't playing baseball, they wasn't playing football, and they wasn't playing hockey or soccer for Diddy to come on stage, pat him on his ass, and then make the statement to people in the world that can't nobody call me Sean but Jay-Z. Now, I don't know what kind of statement, and I can't say, I wish I could say half a homo, but I know I can't say it. But I don't know what kind of half a homo that is. And you trying to say that you're not close to somebody. You coming on stage, patting them on their ass, and then you making a broad statement to the public, can't nobody call me Sean but Sean Carter. And I heard Jay-Z said the same thing about them. But they were so close that they had matching white girls together. Because when they used to see each other, they used to say, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? He'd be like, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? So, I guess that's a certain type of closeness.
I ain't know anything about that, man. I ain't know about, Jay touching his, ass. So I got to go see the video. I ain't hear about that.
Come on, man. Everybody's seen that. 50 even pointed it out. Excuse me. When they was in ATL on stage. Remember when 50 bum rushed the stage with them?
Yeah, I think I recall that.
When Puff came on stage, first thing he did was pat Jay-Z on that. But I forgot. That's your favorite rapper.
Hey, him and Pac is 1A, 1B. But what's your issue with Jay, man? I didn't know you had an issue with him.
I'm never...
To Gene, the natural comfort between Jay-Z and Diddy said more than any statement could. He often points to an Atlanta show where Diddy brought Jay-Z on stage, noting the effortless chemistry that caught fans' attention and later resurfaced when 50 Cent highlighted the clip online. Asked about any personal issues with Jay-Z, Gene dismissed the idea, explaining it wasn't about bias but perspective, recalling a past moment of tension that Jay-Z later seemed to brush off. To Gene, that response reflects how those at the top move through conflict easily, operating in a world far removed from everyday realities.
That's how these guys are, man. They'll cause situations and cause problems, and then they'll forget what they done because they on a whole nother atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? A lot of shit that he did, you got to understand, like now he'll say that they're kids because he's raising kids of his own. You understand? But how would you like it that if Blue Ivory, 15, 16 years old, 17, 18 years old, dating a nigga in his early 30s? You're not going to go for that. No matter what she came through in Hollywood. But you got to understand, guys who was around there, we didn't know Jay-Z them ages. We didn't know these cats' age. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't having no beards and nothing like that. They was wearing low cuts. You understand? Clean face. I would have never believed when Jay was coming around the block, scooping up the young girls and stuff like that he was 30 years old. If they 17, 18, 16 years old and they 22, you thinking they 22, 23, something like that, 24 years old? They mama and them need to check them. They daddy and them need to check them. But that's not that far off. But for somebody to be 30 years old in their 30s and they dealing with kids 16 years old, 17, 18 years, now that's a problem. That's an issue. And now he see that because he's raising kids. And he got a young daughter. I think he got another daughter that he didn't claim and now he claiming them. These cats was doing a whole lot of stuff that people in the industry won't speak on. And then now that you're speaking on it and it's becoming where is that you can get on YouTube and you could talk about this shit and say what you seen or say what you heard, you understand, or what you know. Some people look at it being a problem. But these cats ain't street.
Dame Dash, once Jay-Z's closest partner, recently addressed the growing controversy, saying what stood out most to him wasn't just the allegations but the sheer force of the public response. He noted that in all his years watching Jay-Z's rise, he had never seen this level of scrutiny aimed at him, as decades of influence had largely kept him insulated, especially within mainstream media. Now, that protection appears to be weakening, placing Jay-Z under a level of public examination rarely seen before and signaling a broader shift, one where even the most powerful figures are no longer beyond questioning when the
It's odd to see him in that, in that getting looked at in that way by white people. Like Jay does, yeah, like I hope that shit didn't happen, but I'm like, damn, they turned the world real. Like people on a certain level have been fucking with him a certain way where he couldn't do no wrong for like 25 years straight. This is the first time he's not getting a pass with white media. Like he can control black media because a lot of them either work or do business with him. But like, ring champs can't get him out of this one, and neither can Charlemagne, because those are the guys that hold him down no matter what he does anyway. So he got to get to People Magazine and Entertainment Tonight right now because they on his head. But the question is why? Like why now? Because for me, I'd be like, yo, that's so ridiculous. Yo, take that to trial. She's not gonna win. Let's get a deposition or something. So I don't know why they get on his head so much. Pause. But I never seen him, under this. I never seen him in this position. They have to explain himself. Pause.
How you feel about the statement he came out with?
I mean, I didn't hear him say anything. I heard a piece of, like I said, I'm doing an interview, so I talk. I thought it was long. For a statement, I thought it was long, pause. But, I think right now, his silence is the worst thing for him if he
spotlight intensifies.
Let people ask him questions.
What stood out most to Dame was seeing Jay-Z in unfamiliar territory, defensive and under sustained pressure, a position he has rarely occupied throughout his career. For decades, he's largely avoided having to explain himself publicly, which makes the current scrutiny especially striking. At the same time, questions have grown about why 50 Cent appears so focused on calling him out, with the Diddy connection alone not fully accounting for the tension. Tony Yayo offered deeper context, explaining that friction between 50 and Jay-Z dates back years, rooted in rivalry and differing views on loyalty. While hip-hop has always thrived on competition, Yayo pointed out that growth is possible, citing moments where old conflicts were set aside on stage. He also echoed Cameron's observation that Jay-Z often prioritizes business over culture, noting how his presence at corporate events contrasts with his absence from key hip-hop moments, an imbalance that continues to fuel questions about where his true allegiances lie.
Like I don't think I would have said that he didn't know Puff at all or wasn't his friend. I thought that was a little extreme. I thought that was the wrong choice of words. I think that's going to trigger a lot of backlash. But the thing is, I never seen him get backlash at all. So that's what I'm saying. Now he getting backlash. Like, when did you know Jay-Z to be on his heels other than when he got beat up in the elevator? But that was nothing. But I've never seen him under the fire ever. Not in a long time. Not like, I've never seen people on his head like that, Paul. Ever.
Yeah, this might be my first time seeing people come at him like this.
Like I said, I didn't hear him say anything. Like, I'm not some white man speaking for another black man doesn't add up. It just doesn't work like that. Like, he doesn't know what to say on Jay's behalf. Jay would have to say that. So if he instructed him to say that, like, you don't even know if Jay told him to say that. He could have got off the stage and they was like, why'd you say that? He was like, I had to. Like, he probably said it because homeboy wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? So who knows? Like, I didn't hear him say anything. I haven't heard Jay say a word yet. Have you?
Nah, I haven't heard him say anything.
There it is. So y'all going by a piece of paper with words? Don't get caught up in that. I have not heard him say one thing yet. Until I see him speak, he hasn't spoke to me. That's why I said I don't think he did not say that. His lawyer.
Yayo pointed to a clear contrast between Jay-Z and 50 Cent when it comes to accessibility and loyalty. Jay-Z, operating at the highest levels of influence, maintains a visible distance, while 50, just as powerful, remains present and connected, consistently showing respect to those who helped build his path. Yayo emphasized that success shouldn't erase gratitude for one's foundation. He recalled a moment tied to the Super Bowl halftime show, where 50's inclusion was reportedly resisted until Eminem intervened, making it clear he wouldn't perform without him.
Most powerful figures.
There was this one part where 50 was talking, and he was saying, yeah, when Yayo was locked up, every G-Unit show, we actually put aside the money.
Bro, I told
for him,
you.
And he had he's like, Yayo had like $1 million.
Right. I just told you, when I came out of my building, I see the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
There was no way I was getting shot there. And this is what I kind of tell you is like, when we was talking about stacks with the Porsche, 50's not going to let you say, get the Porsche. He going to say, let's get him out the hood first. You know, if the money's there, but the money has to be there for you to live like that. The money's there. 50 didn't have to do that. Rest in peace to Hervé from Interscope, because he always said to me, man, 50 do more for you than any artist.
Over time, reports suggest the relationship between Jay-Z and Diddy began to strain, with insiders pointing to growing trust concerns and uncertainty over where loyalties would fall if circumstances shifted. Some unverified claims, including ones publicly voiced by Jaguar Wright, have even suggested Jay-Z played a behind-the-scenes role in Diddy's downturn, though no evidence has confirmed this. Whether factual or speculative, the narrative highlights how quickly alliances can change at the highest levels, where power is fluid.
Change without warning.
He made a statement recently. He said that Jay-Z loves money more than hip-hop. And he pointed out that Jay-Z performed at Tom Brady's Hall of Fame ceremony, but he didn't perform in any Hip-Hop 50 events.
I mean, Jay-Z's on a whole nother level. Like, I mean, you know, he's like, but you know what I like about 50? 50's on a whole nother level, but he's still approachable. You still get to meet the people and you know, Jay got to remember the people that made him. You know, I'm not saying I don't got respect. I respect Jay-Z, 50, used to respect, you know, Diddy, but all that crazy shit going on. But, you know, I always respected him because I looked at, for New York, those were like the guys. You know what I'm saying? The guys with the most money and the most influence. So with Jay is like, when the last time you haven't seen Jay. So I think people are just going to say that. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I mean, Jay, you know, you got to remember, he didn't want 50 at the Super Bowl. That was crazy. I'm like,
wait, Jay didn't want 50 at the Super Bowl?
Know that? Yeah, he didn't want.
I remember Eminem pushed for it.
That was some hater shit. Yeah,
I remember Eminem was like, I'm not going to do it unless 50 does it. I heard that.
Yeah,
but I didn't know that Jay was trying to stop it.
I don't think Jay. I don't know. 50 never told me that, but I don't think Jay wanted him there. I don't know.
Because of what? Some of the.
I mean, you know, it's competition. You got to think. 50 always been competition for Jay. Remember, I'm about $1. What the fuck is 50 Cent?
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
That was what, 9? What was that? 9?
But after that, they did a song together. Remember the whole
50 was always competition for niggas. Then remember Jay said, yo, 50's coming. He told Siegel and them, and Memphis Bleak and all them.
Yeah.
And come on, 50's like, he's on a whole nother level. You got to remember, he came after niggas. He came after Jay and Rockefeller. G-Unit came, and people might shit on G-Unit, but with Eminem, Dr.
Roger Bonds, who previously served as Diddy's head of security, shared an insider perspective on the relationship, explaining that while he observed Jay-Z and Diddy interact, he never viewed them as genuinely close. From his standpoint, Diddy appeared to believe the connection ran deeper than it did, revealing a disconnect between perception and reality, something common in high-profile circles where image often outweighs the truth.
Happening behind the scenes.
He says to people, he goes into boardrooms and says to people, which I will never say, is he says, it's important for me to be a billionaire, you know, because black people need to be billionaires. And why does specifically he, at that time, I've had this conversation with white money people when they go, you know, it's important that Jay-Z becomes a billionaire. And I go, why? And they said, because he wants to open up a casino. You know, he wants to open up this. He should have an alcoholic brand. He needs to have a casino. He needs to have this. And you're like, why the fuck does anybody need a casino? Like another fucking casino
money
in this world.
And it makes it very possible for people to launder money all day.
Yeah. So like, why, even the fact that you want to become so powerful, then you're not saying because he needs to build schools for black people in black neighborhoods. It's because he wanted to build casinos for black people.
For them to keep wasting their money and then for him to keep Getting them overpriced merchandise. It's a rat trap.
Yeah.
All of it is. The sad part is that hip hop has now turned itself over to this greed machine.
Insiders from Diddy's circle have said he regularly went out of his way to show support for Jay-Z, often more than it was returned, pointing to an uneven dynamic that highlights how loyalty can sometimes flow in only one direction behind the scenes. Next voice, next voice. From that viewpoint, Jay-Z and Diddy were never as tightly connected as many believed. They moved in the same powerful circles and shared influence, but genuine loyalty was never firmly in place, and over time, those fractures became harder to ignore. Now, as events play out in public view, the real question is whether those long-standing cracks will keep widening and reshape how both figures are seen moving forward. Let us know your thoughts below.